my computer had so many issues yesterday, and so now things look different on it. If you guys see me kind of spacing out, I'm like, what is going on with my computer? Okay. All right, so the art of inviting. This is something I feel like we should probably talk about every couple of months or each quarter, because it's like a crucial element of our business. And it's what I really feel has impacted my business and made the biggest difference. And so a lot of you are in our personal development group that started today. We're reading Get Over Your Damn Self, which chapter 1 was awesome. I've only got through chapter 1 because we're only reading a chapter a day, so super simple. But a great book to help with one of the most important things that we should be doing with ourselves is personally developing ourselves. So many people talk about the fear of going live, the fear of inviting somebody, the fear of rejection. And so if you're not trying to implement changes so you get past that fear, then you're never going to get past your fear, and you're never going to step outside of your comfort zone, and you're always going to stay in that little box that makes you feel comfortable where none of the magic happens. So inviting is one of those big things that come with fear. And so I really hope, a lot of you, I think, are doing the personal development group with us. And today we actually had to listen to I didn't even know that this was going to be today's post, but it was Carl talking about the vital behaviors. And the first one he, of course, talked about was inviting. And so it was really good. And that was one thing that I felt like we really needed to talk about as a team, because I have a lot of coaches tell me that they're not really inviting, and they're not really inviting anybody outside of their really warm market. But first thing I want to talk about is your warm market, because your warm market are those people that you are connected with already. They already trust you. You already formed a relationship with them. You could simply say, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you want to do this with me? We could work out together and we can drink these shakes. You want to do it? They're probably going to say yes. So those were my first people. Actually, one of my girls that I work with, that's exactly what I told her. And it was less than a year later, she lost 100 pounds just because I asked her that question. So, your warm market is going to be the one that is a little bit easier. I'm going to share my screen, because what I did do was I worked on this week crafting up an invite. And so when I first began coaching, I sat and I created a list of people that I thought I wanted to ask. And so it was people that were close to me, close friends, people I worked with, people I used to work with but still talk to, things like that. Those were the people that I was trying to basically tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to do it with me? And those are the people that are perfect for what I call that cold invite. That invite that you're only going to be sending to people who you already know, have a relationship with, and have built trust with. Okay, let me see. I think everybody's on mute. I hear a little feedback. Let me unshare my screen really quick so I can get that. Okay. I don't think it lets me get one person. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, well. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right. So if you go to the team page, you're going to go to the photos section. Click photos on your desktop. On your smartphones, you click info. And then I think you click photos, and then you can click albums. Okay. So then you'll go over here. You'll click albums. And there's like a whole library of everything and anything that I thought was important for coaching or help me with my success is loaded right here. And the newest things are always going to be right up here in the front. So what I've recently done is I added a personal invite, which is a script to your warm market. So if you guys click on the album, you'll be able to click on that image again. And then I basically just kind of talked about what the link is, and that this is meant for your warm market, la-di-da-da. You guys can go in and read it. And then you click on the link, and it gives you the example of the invite. So My very first invite was kind of super, super wordy. I mean, it was like a whole page long, and that's way too much. And even for some of you guys, you may look at this and be like, oh no, that's too much. But for me, this is what I would send somebody. If I was still working in my warm market, which I'm not, at 2.5 years, I basically just work with my cold market, meaning that I'm mainly focusing on building relationships. I'm never sending just a cold invite to people. But with my warm market, what I did is I couldn't do 3 to 5 invites a day. And so that's what Beachbody usually says, is do 3 to 5 invites a day. Well, for me, I was working full time. I had a 2-year-old. I was super busy. So the week before prep week, I would take 3 days and I would send 20 invites those 3 days. And so I would end up sending 60 invites before a challenge group. And it would basically be telling them what I was doing and what the group consisted of. So instead, what I think is it would be a lot better, and I have rewritten this invite, is to kind of eliminate word vomiting every single thing that you have to offer to them, and just kind of telling them a little bit about your story, telling them, you know, why you became a coach, why you're doing this, how this has impacted you and changed, you know, your outlook on foods, and really explain to them that you know, it's not about weight loss anymore. It's about being healthy. It's about getting into a group where you can hold each other accountable, and you learn how to clean eat, and you learn how to make meals for your family that is going to end up causing them to have a healthy, long life. So I want you guys to go through and look at this invite. I'm not going to sit here and read it, but this is what I would send to my warm market, not strangers, okay? So if you're a brand new coach, this is something that would probably be the most vital to you right now. But if you've been a coach for a while, maybe you kind of feel like you've already asked those people that are close to you. And when I say people close to you and that you have a relationship with, I even mean people that you know, you went to high school with, or people you used to work with. It doesn't have to be your best friend or your family member. But you know, if it's somebody that you haven't talked to in a while and you just send them this random message, then that I wouldn't call them your super warm market anymore at that point. Okay. All right. So let me go back here. And okay. So we're on the album section again. And another thing that I wanted to show you guys, which is usually for my personally sponsored coaches, every time you guys have done a new coach announcement, I've sent you this tip. And so this tip consists of what should you be doing when somebody likes or comments on your post. And you guys may not think of this as an invite, but anytime that you're directly messaging somebody and you're thanking them for hitting like, or, you know, thanking them for being your motivator, it is going to eventually lead into more conversation. Hopefully, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they just say, you're welcome. But there's also a tip that I offer where at the end of it, you can put a call to action. And the call to action would be, you know, for example, one of the ones I have is, hey, thanks for the like on my fitness post. I really appreciate having the support of my friends and family. It makes sharing my journey online much easier. At times it can be hard to be so open about my journey, but I do it in hopes to help others get started. I wasn't sure if your like on my post was because you liked my picture or you want to know more about what I'm doing. Either way, I'd be happy to share more with you. So there is kind of like an indirect invite, you know, asking them, first of all, being humble and thanking them for their support, because really that means a lot, guys. Like, what we're doing is outside of our comfort zone. And for anybody to hit like or comment, they're supporting you already. And so I always try to get my newer coaches to make sure that when somebody likes or comment, they go and they send them a personal message. And that is a very easy way to go ahead and start conversation on what you are doing. Okay. And then if you guys got to watch or participate in this past not this past weekend, but the weekend before, the Super Saturday, Jen, the girl on the video, and I did post a video on the team page last week, she had a very small little tidbit, which was really great because she used this on anything. Anytime somebody commented on anything that she posted, she would write their name down. If she hadn't connected with them yet personally in a personal message, she would write their name down and make sure that she sent them a message. Even if it was a post that had nothing to do with Beachbody, nothing to do with fitness, she was still reaching out to them, especially if it's somebody she hadn't talked to in a while. But one of her tips, if somebody did like, say, a fitness post, she would say, hey, thanks for the love on my fitness post today. It definitely motivates me to keep going, to keep doing what I'm doing. And so again, that's being humble, that's thanking somebody for their support, and that's opening up conversation. And you can even, like, that was her what she said, but you can even add in at the very end, you can say something, you know, hey, have you been working out too? Or what is your New Year's goals? Or, you know, there's always, I always like to add kind of an open-ended question where they can't just say yes or no. They have to respond back to me. So the only thing I didn't love about her tip was that she did message them and she did start a connection, but she didn't ask a question. So they may have just sent back "you're welcome," or they may have not sent anything back at all. So I always like to add kind of an open-ended question where they will respond back to me with something more than just a yes or no. Now, what you guys also may not know is that when you are, sorry, let me close out my messages here. When you are messaging people through personal message, what is happening is you're creating an interaction. What so many coaches, and including myself when I first started, did not know is that when you are friends with somebody, it doesn't automatically mean they're going to see all of your Facebook posts, okay? What it means is unless Facebook sees that you guys are connected and that you are friends and you are creating interactions, they're not going to allow your stuff to show up in their newsfeed. So maybe you guys may notice every time you open Facebook up, you see my stuff, right? Or you see another coach's stuff, or maybe somebody you recently talked to. And I've actually proven this with another coach that we had connected. We had done a team call for each other, and we had been talking to each other through personal message. And all of a sudden, I seen all her stuff show up on my newsfeed, and vice versa with mine, when I wasn't seeing any of her stuff before. And that was because Facebook was like, okay, Danielle and Mandy, who was this other coach, Danielle and Mandy are personally messaging each other. They must be good friends. They must be connected. I'm going to start allowing Danielle's stuff to show up in Mandy's newsfeed and vice versa. So if you're not creating any kind of interactions with people and you're not personally messaging them, then your hopes of them seeing your post or your call out to do a challenge group is going to be pretty slim. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you're also connecting, not just because we want to connect with people because we want to build relationships and trust with them. So when they do decide to do their health and fitness journey, they choose us, but also so they can start seeing our posts. And that leads me into the next thing. If you guys are not posting on social media and you're not telling your story and what you're doing and sharing about it, then you're going to message somebody and they're going to be like, well, I haven't seen any of her posts or her post anything about it. Like, she's talking about this challenge group and all I see is a picture of her dog. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to make sure that you're posting and sharing what you're doing, and also make sure that you're offering value. So if your posts are nothing but your sweaty pictures, or nothing but your Shakeology cup in your hand, then there's not going to be any value there. They're going to want to learn something from you. Why should they choose you? So you always want to kind of think, I always tell coaches, okay, go look at my posts and I want you to think about why would they choose me over you as their coach? And, it's not because I've been doing it longer. It's not because I know more. It would be because I post free and valuable content. I post recipes. I go on live and I show them how to make things. I talk about what my groceries are. I share with them my life so that I can gain their trust and they can know a little bit more about me and how I want to be a role model to my kids. And I'm doing this being healthy for my kids and how much it can impact them too. So I want to make sure when they go to my page, they feel that from me, that they know that I genuinely want to help people. And that's why I often offer a lot of valuable information for free. These recipes that I've created, or, my grocery shopping tips, which I go into our challenge groups and I always, post a video where I talk about everything I buy at the grocery store, still going on my personal page and still offering that up for free, then that's why they're going to choose you, because they're going to find the value in you as their coach. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I made notes here to make sure I went over everything with you. Let me click back here. The next thing I want to talk about is connections. So I talked about how important it was to make sure that you are connecting with people. So you don't know how often I ask coaches, okay, so you're friending that 3 to 5 people a day, or how many ever you may be friending. All right, what are you doing from there? And so many coaches tell me nothing. So what's the point of friending them? Because if you're not creating an interaction with them, you're not messaging them, then they're not seeing your posts and they're just sitting there. And so I always tell coaches, you signed up to help people, right? We sign up to help people. Does that mean we only want to help the people that come to us? Of course not. We want to help anybody and everybody. We want to help as many people as we can and try to impact them in a positive way. So if we're not reaching out to them, how is that going to happen? Because when I was a newer coach, what I was learning as I was messaging people and connecting with them, how many people were seeing my post and they weren't reaching out to me because they were nervous, they were scared, they were embarrassed. They didn't know a lot about what I was posting, but it looked interesting. Like, I would get comments about that all the time because I was consistent. I posted every single day. I've literally not missed a day for 2.5 years. Literally not missed a day. And really, guys, if you're living this lifestyle, if you are really being a product of the product, you should have something to post about every single day. I have to stop myself at times because my posting is too much. But I try to be consistent, and they see that. And when I message them, I will often get somebody saying something about seeing my posts, but being nervous to reach out to me. So what I want to make sure that you guys are doing is in the album section, it's albums 10 through 18. There's one called You Added a New Friend, Now What? Okay, so let me click on this one. All right, and then there's a nice little script here. Hopefully you guys can see this. But there is a little script of what I typically do, depending on where this person has came from. If I'm dealing with my cold market and I'm friending somebody, say from a special interest group, like a hygiene group, I'm in a couple of dental hygiene groups, I'm in a Lululemon group, I'm in a few other ones. But if I'm friending those people, I want to make sure that within a week or 2 weeks that I am reaching out to them and connecting with them and telling them what I have to offer. And so what do I mean by that? Well, for me, I have a like page. I've had it for a while. I don't suggest any new coach to get a like page. I don't even suggest a like page unless you are like me and you post like a lot, because really where I build my business is my personal page. The only thing I use my like page for is conversations. And so when I start a conversation, when I initially have friended somebody, I will invite them to my like page and I will tell them about what my like page has to offer, which is recipes and fitness tips and motivation and encouragement. And, we talk a lot about clean eating, and I ask them, are you into clean eating? If so, I would love to gain your support on this page. So say you don't have a like page, and you're like, okay, what do I send somebody if I don't have a like page? Well, you can do the exact same thing even with a personal page. So one of the scripts that I have down for that is, thanks for accepting my friend request. Are you into clean eating? If so, then keep an eye out for my weekly recipe posts. I'm on a health and fitness journey myself and post to hold myself accountable and to help others get motivated too. It's been life-changing for me and my family, so I try to share with others some of the yummy and healthy recipes we have been making each week. I don't know how many people follow me just for my recipes, literally, guys. And I have people that message me quite a bit just asking me if I have any new crockpot recipes or anything I can suggest for them to have for dinner tonight. That's what people struggle with. And how many times do you see somebody randomly share a recipe post? Maybe they've seen it on somebody's like page, or they came across it on Pinterest or whatever, and so they share it on Facebook. People love recipes. So that's kind of what I lead with, is recipes. And then I just make a point to try and post one recipe a week. I've had a coach say, well, we eat pretty boring. We don't eat, we don't make a lot of recipes. All right. That's what Beachbody Blog is there for. That's what our challenge groups are there for. Go ahead and use Beachbody Blog's picture. Find something on Pinterest. I personally like using my own pictures. I think they get better traction on Facebook. So what I typically tell somebody is to try one new recipe every few weeks and recycle those recipes. So don't think that if you posted something 2 months ago that was a recipe, that every single person on your friends list caught that. How many times have I posted something in a challenge group that people do not catch? And somebody will make it and they'll say, oh, share the recipe. And it's like, I just posted that 2 days ago. They missed it. So you got to keep that in mind, that recycling recipes is something I do quite frequently, especially after being a coach 2.5 years. I recycle my Hawaiian chicken recipe like, I don't know, every other month, because so many people miss it. And it's such an easy, simple recipe. I can post it in different ways. I can go live about it. I can do a video about it. I can just do a post with a picture about it. So that's one very easy way to reach out to somebody that you friended and just let them know, what your page is about, what you're using it for, that you're just sharing your journey. And if you're offering valuable information and you're not sitting there trying to sell somebody on your Facebook page 24/7, then they're going to want to follow you. They're going to want to see what your recipes are, and they're going to get motivated by the other things that you post too. So I actually had somebody message me last night telling me that they were thinking about doing the 21-day fix, and they came across my page and they just blew up my notifications. I mean, they liked almost all of my pictures, and I was like, what is going on? I've got to message this person. They just liked like 20 things of mine, and then they went and liked my health and fitness page. So I messaged her, and she said that she was thinking about doing the program, came across my page because I think she's also friends with Chris. And she said that my Facebook page had given her more information than her two best friends that are doing the 21-day fix, or what she's even looked up online, just going through my photos and my profile. And so that means a lot, guys. That means that it makes me feel good because I know that my content on there is valuable to people and that they learn from it. And it makes me feel good to know that I'm helping somebody, even if they're not my challenger, even if they're not my coach. Maybe she's going to be a challenger with her best friend who is also doing the program too. And so that still makes me feel like I'm helping somebody. And it makes me feel good inside about what I'm doing. So, it's not always about the sell. And I think if you can reflect that on your social media page, that's what is going to cause people to be drawn to you. Even with coaching, I just had signed up a coach here recently, and she had told me that she was attracted to Beachbody because of how I approached it, that I wasn't salesy, that my Facebook page offered a lot of valuable content, and that she liked the way that I approached coaching. So if you look at your page and you feel icky about it, then there's probably a reason that you feel icky about it. You want to make sure that when you look at your Facebook page that you're really offering valuable content, and you're giving people things for free too, because it's all about building relationships, connecting, building relationships, and earning their trust. Just like today, I had went to the coffee shop, and there is a local business owner of a CrossFit gym. And I was talking to Chris, and I said, every time I go in there, he is so friendly to me, and he's so friendly to everybody in the coffee shop. He always makes a point to say bye to people or shake somebody's hand. And, he's a business owner. And so it's almost like politics. That's what you do. You're friendly to people. You build relationships. You build trust with them. And I told Chris, I was like, if I wasn't doing Beachbody, I want to do CrossFit, I would go to his gym because he's so nice. That's exactly what we are, guys. We can show people and build their trust on social media. But if you're hiding or you're fearful of people rejecting you if you do a video, or making fun of you if you go live, you're never showing people how valuable you are and how much trust you can gain with them. And we often forget we are business owners too. And that's part of being a business owner is also building relationships with people. Just like me saying if I was going to do CrossFit, I would go to his gym because he was so friendly. It's the same thing with coaching. People choose us as their coach because we're friendly. We share our lives. They get to see a piece of us. They're excited by our enthusiasm. And I'm not always a super happy person, but I'm not going to post my negativity on Facebook. I'm going to try and keep it upbeat. I'm going to try and keep it positive, and I'm going to try and share my struggles so I can connect with people and let them know I'm a real person. Like, I'm not this perfect person that eats right all the time. All right, so let me stop sharing. Okay, so let me see. So when it comes to doing a cold invite, that's what I suggest is making a connection with them. And another thing that I have also done, because you don't want to mindlessly Facebook scroll. You're going to waste so much time. But when I first started coaching and I was messaging my warm market, I would create a list on Facebook. And so I have a YouTube video. I can post it in comments. I've posted it several times before. But it shows you guys how to create a list on Facebook. And so what you do with a list, and let me see, I'm going to share it really quick so I can show y'all. Hang on. Okay. So how a list works is, this is a great way to be organized with who you're looking at. So, you know what, for some reason I couldn't find this the other day on my desktop. Usually on my phone, I can go over and it's added to my favorites, but for some reason on my desktop, it's not there. But you can go to Friends List, and I have one that I check quite often. Where's it at? PS Coaches. So all my personally sponsored coaches, I can go through just your all's newsfeed. And all I did was I can manage this list. You can go in and click See All, and you can add people to this list. So add them right there, okay? Or you can even go in and scroll over this part and go down the Friends and then add to another list. And I can add them to another list that I've created. This is how I stop mindlessly Facebook scrolling. If I want to send an invite to somebody, even if it is to my warm market, I do like to go through their post and see what they have posted, usually a week before I send them an invite. And I do try to comment on things. So that way when I do send them an invite, it's not super random. I've been commenting, I've been watching, and I can even start off our conversation with, hey, I seen your post the other day that you took your kids to the park and they look so big. I can't believe how big they've got. So that way you're also connecting with them, and they're knowing that you're watching them on social media, that you're not just like, I mean, how many times have we obnoxiously got from somebody we don't know at all an invite to do Roden and Fields? That's the one I've gotten a lot here lately, is Roden and Fields. And I'm like, who are you? You've never talked to me a day in my life. So a warm invite, I would never send to your cold market. I would definitely not do that. What I would do, however, is where I just showed you guys, if somebody accepts your friend request, do tell them a little bit about what your page is going to be offering. It's not inviting them to a challenge group, but it's just inviting them to follow you. And maybe they won't send you anything back, but if anything, you've created an interaction, they'll start seeing your post. Or what may happen is that they'll just sit and they'll watch. Now, I know when I message people to check out my like page, I've had a lot of them not message me back, but then they'll go and like my like page. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're going to watch my page. And so then that gives me an opportunity to go back and be like, hey, I seen that you liked my page. Thank you so much. Let me know if you end up trying any of the recipes. Again, making a connection, building a relationship, being friendly. And then those people, you can also go back and make sure that you write their name down. And next time we do a free group as a team, or you decide to do a free group on your own, those would be the people that you would ask first. I always go to my cold market when I do a free group, because how easy is it to invite somebody to a free group? I'm not asking them to do anything but to make a free Beachbody account. That's it. And then from there, within a free group, I can build a relationship. Okay, so that kind of goes back to what I say is one of my vital behaviors for the day, which is starting 5 new conversations a day. And that's how I start my conversations, is I will share with them about what I have to offer on my like page, or, you know, for you guys, you would share with them what you have to offer on your personal page. And then I also add 5 new friends a day. So typically my 5 new friends can come from either suggested friends. I use that a lot at first. My 5 new friends can come from special interest groups. It can come from going to my best friends page and looking and seeing the mutual friends that we have, but I'm not friends with them yet. I've done that before with even my sorority sisters, people that I've forgotten about. And then another thing I want to talk about, which to me is kind of a form of invite, is follow-ups. So say you have a conversation that was going really well and it just went cold and it just kind of stopped. So what I typically do with those people is I will find a recipe on my that I posted on my personal page, and I will click on the picture and I will copy the URL. Do you guys all know what that is? It's that little like when you're clicked on the picture, you just copy and paste, or copy the URL, the thing that's www.facebook, whatever your code is. So I copy that, and I will say in the message, hey, today I decided I was going to send out my favorite recipes, my favorite recipe to a few people, and you popped up in my head. Here it is. Let me know if you try it. It's one of favorites for my family. Something like that. And I consider that being one of my follow-ups with somebody. Anytime a message goes cold, that's typically going to be my follow-up. Is it always successful? No. Do people sometimes still not send me anything back? Heck yes. But a lot of times what happens is, most times they'll say thank you, or sometimes they'll even say, hey, I forgot, I've been wanting to reach out to you, but I keep forgetting, I've been wanting to do a group. That happens too. So any scenario can occur. Don't always think you're going to send a recipe and you know, people say, okay, I sent a recipe and still nothing happened. Okay, at least you create an interaction. They're going to be seeing your post again. So make sure that you're keeping your post valuable. At least, you know, they'll be seeing that. And when they're ready, they're going to come to you. Okay, another thing that is something that I don't really think about doing very often, but is a really great tip, is indirectly inviting people. So a tip that was offered by another coach was they would message somebody telling them about what they were doing with coaching, and telling them a little bit about their group and saying, do you feel like you know anybody that would be interested in doing something like this? So you're not even inviting them. You're just asking basically for a referral. You're asking them, do you know anybody that would like to do a group where we'll be sharing clean eating recipes and giving accountability, and also following a fitness program. And so that's a really easy way to indirectly invite somebody, because they may say, hey, yeah, I would love to do that. Or they may give you a referral. So there's kind of 2 wins there. And that's often what I forget to do. Even when you do have somebody that wants to do a challenge group, you can always say, hey, do you know anybody else that may want to do this group? If so, I can, connect me with them, connect us in a message thread, and I'll send them a little information. So asking for referrals is another thing that is really huge. I had something in my head that I was wanting to tell you guys, and I can't remember now. Do you all have any questions? Does anybody feel nervous about inviting? Don't lie, I know you do. Everybody always does. I really think that, if you have it in your head that what you're doing and why you're doing it is genuinely to help people. And, this is what I was going to say. So, anytime that you message somebody and you're trying to build a relationship and build their trust, what I want you to eliminate is the thought of talking about Beachbody. So that's where so many people struggle, and it feels icky when you're just trying to start a conversation with somebody and your ultimate goal is to get straight to Beachbody so you can tell them about your challenge group. Your ultimate goal should really be just to create a connection, build a relationship, and try to gain their trust, okay? If you have the opportunity to invite them to a challenge group, absolutely invite them to a challenge group. What I normally do with my cold market, when I do send them a message and we get to talking a little bit, is I will not word vomit about my challenge group to them just yet. I will often go on and I will ask them, of course, what their goals and struggles are. And then I will ask them, hey, I have these online health and fitness accountability groups where we do follow a structured eating plan. If you want, I can share with you what our group is all about and how the eating plan works, ? So I'm asking them before I'm automatically telling them all about my group. And for me, that makes me feel more like, I wait for them to say yes. And once they say yes, I feel like they're at that point asking me for my help. They always have the opportunity to say, no, I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I'm doing this. And that does happen sometimes. But a lot of times people say yes, and they want to learn more about what I have to offer. So I always think that it's important, instead of jumping right into it, that you first ask them if they even want to hear about it. And that saves your time too, because maybe they're not open to learning more about it. Maybe they have already joined a CrossFit gym and paid $150 for the month, and they're not going to do your group right now. So you want to know that ahead of time. But that was one of my big points that I wanted to make. Okay. I think that's it. So guys, use the album section of our team page. You go to photos, go to album, you're going to find the scripts for, if you guys want to write this down, it's album 10 through 18. You're going to find the one that says, they accepted my friend request. Now what do I say now, or something like that. And then the very first album is where you're going to find the warm market scripts, and also when somebody likes or comments on your post. Okay. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Do you all have any questions? Unmute yourselves, please, if you do. I'm staring at a lot of names tonight. I don't see anybody's camera on but Taylor and Jamie's. Megan, Kristen, oh my gosh, now I recognize everybody. Who else is? Somebody's in the dark. Lauren. Do y'all have any questions? No. Kristen, I love your PJs. I see the.
Thanks. Did you see their shorts?
I didn't see their shorts. I couldn't see your knees.
Yeah.
They're super cute though. I love them.
Thanks.
Do you guys think that was helpful? I mean, do you feel like you struggle with inviting? Or I really feel like inviting is kind of those things where you're like, send, and then you kind of close your eyes really quick. It gets easier. It gets easier and you get better at it. If you guys could read my initial warm market invite, I mean, it's embarrassing. It was like a page long. Like, I really can't believe I had people that joined me, because it was just horrible. And I really think that it had a lot to do with my post and how good my posts were, because I was sharing so much, but because my invite was awful. I mean, it was like, if somebody sent me that invite, I would not want to read it. It was like really 5 paragraphs. It was crazy. So I try to simplify it a little bit more. And you guys, this is just an example. The invite script is an example. You don't have to use that. You can change it up, make it your own. You can copy and paste it exactly if you feel like the words are perfect. Anything and everything that I have, you guys can have. You don't have to, anytime I do a script, you guys don't have to change it. Of course, if your story is different than my story, you want to change that part. But what is mine is yours. Okay.
Thank you for your help.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to jump off here unless y'all have any questions.
Can I add something for you?
Yes, please do.
So I was watching a video by Carl today, and one of the things that he had said is that, one of the vital behaviors is invite. But he likes to say, like, it's not just inviting, it's about posting, it's about sharing and creating a relationship and learning about the person and then inviting. So all of that is vital. You can't just jump right into an invite without knowing what the person is looking for or what their goals are.
Yes, exactly. And I 100% agree. Again, with the whole warm market invite, I definitely think that has to be somebody close to you for sure. And if Are you guys all in the PD group? Lauren, I don't think you are. And you know what? I will, in the comments of this, when I post this recording, I will also post Carl's video because it was really good. And that was, it was basically connect, build relationships, trust, then invite. All right. Do y'all want to add anything else? Anybody else have anything that they want to share or maybe that's helped them?
Your tips.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I've done a post in here lately, because I haven't done this in a while, because I've been friending so many people, I've been trying to message those people. I have started to, when I created a post, I would write their name down, especially if I haven't talked to them in a while, and just telling them, you know, hey, I see you comment on my post. I'm sorry we haven't connected in a while. Just reaching back out to people that I haven't talked to. And that's another thing that people often say, well, I've ran through my warm market. Like, if you've only talked to them once, then you haven't ran through your warm market. And what has happened to me quite often is when I reconnect with people, especially if they're liking or commenting on my stuff, they're obviously watching me. They're obviously interested in what I'm doing. And I'm messaging and reaching back out to them. I'm first being apologetic and being like, hey, I see you comment on my post. I'm sorry I haven't connected with you in a while. I remember last time we talked about whatever. Or I remember the last time we hung out, or, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to say, but just trying to reconnect with those people. And it's a good feeling, like to reconnect with an old friend. I know one of my best friends from high school just joined us as a coach. Hopefully she'll watch this recording. But one of my best friends from high school just joined us as a coach, and she reached out to me to become a challenger, and her and I had disconnected just because family, and she moved over 2 hours away and things like that. And we've now talked almost every day. And so it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to connect with your old friends, because you lose touch, not because you aren't friends anymore, just because life gets in the way. And so when you're doing something like this and you can motivate and encourage each other and form that friendship again, it feels really good.
Do you add like a lot of random like, okay, so like I have a lot of people who send me friend requests every day, like random people, and I kind of like go to their page and like find out like what they do for a living, like to before I add them, because do you just add like a lot of random people, or do you like want to know what they do first?
Well, no, I want to know who they are.
Right.
I only friend women. I do not friend men, because I don't really take on men challengers unless they reach out to me. And usually I throw those over to my husband anyways. But I only connect with women. I do create their Facebook profile. Most of the people that I friend are moms, or they're hygienists, people who we have the same occupation, nurses. I have a lot of healthcare providers that I've also friended. But yes, I do randomly friend people, and that's why it's so important to make sure you don't have your Facebook profile on lockdown, because if you friended me and all I could see was your profile pictures and a few other pictures, and I really couldn't get a feel for who you were, I probably wouldn't accept your friend request. Now that I'm a coach, I might, but before, if I couldn't get a feel for who you were, there's absolutely no way I would accept your friend request. Right. So that's why I think it's important. Like, some people don't want to share their kids at all on social media. And for me, I want to share that I am a mom and I do this for my kids, and I want to be a role model for my kids. So I do make some of my posts with my kids public. But when it's like when Cash turns 5 months, or it's a birthday party, or it's a preschool Christmas program, or we're feeding Cash for the first time, whatever, it has nothing to do with like my business or my brand as a mom who's a role model, then I set it to private, friends only. But I do have public posts out there that do include my kids, especially if we're working out or doing recipes or things like that. Because I want people to be able to see, oh, look what she does, and she's a mom, and oh, she has a 5-month-old, and she's still working out, and she makes all her food at home. And I want them to get a feel for me, so they want to be friends with me and they trust me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, and like I even feel like trying to find people to add as friends is difficult because when you look at your suggestions, like, you know, from Scott County, some of those people are not the most attractive people to add. So it's like, how do I go about, you know, stepping out past that group of people to find? You know, I'm a part of some other groups, but I don't want to be like a complete stranger, be like adding all these people.
I do.
Oh.
I really do. I literally just added 5 people from a group that I'm in that has 20,000 people in it. They all had really nice profile pictures. They're all women. They're all around my age. Some of them are moms. I do. And like usually about 50% of them will accept my friend request. Some days I'll get like 4 of them. Some days I'll get all 5. Some days I'll get like 0. And I'm like, holy moly, like 0 people accepted my friend request today. But yeah, I do. And really, let's see, Taylor and Kristen, both of them were in a dental hygiene group. Both of them did not know me at all. And Lauren, hey, there we go. 3 people. And let's see, I don't know which Lindsay's on here, but if it's my coach, Lindsay Watkins, is it? Oh, no, it's Lindsay. Okay. Well, I have another coach, and Kelly Branson, who's one of my diamond coaches. I friended her, and she almost didn't even accept my friend request, but she looked through my profile and thought, oh, she looks like she could help me, and she's a mom, so I guess I'll accept her friend request. Like, she only had 100 friends. She wasn't friending anybody. She didn't even like social media. Now she's a diamond coach with a banging business. So yeah, I do. And you know, I really set aside my ego. I think you really have to set aside your ego whenever it comes to just randomly friending people, because I don't care what people think of me. I mean, I genuinely want to help them, and I'm not going to try and sell them. I want them to follow me. I want to gain their trust. And they can either accept my friend request or they don't. That's all it is. It's either you do or you don't. And if they don't, then okay. I'm going to add 5 new people the next day, and maybe one person will, and maybe we'll connect. Maybe they'll do a group. Maybe they'll become one of my coaches. Maybe we'll become best friends. Maybe they'll fly in from Vermont and stay with me for a weekend. Kristen's not even paying attention. So, yeah, I do. I do friend random people. That's my secret. It's out. And I do it from special interest groups, usually, or people that we have a lot of mutual friends with. If I went to college with them or something like that. Kristen, you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say I'm kind of in the same boat as Jamie is, where like most of the people from my area aren't really worth friending. But I've noticed if I go to if I find somebody worth it, if I find somebody who's got a steady job, doing well in life, no cigarettes, no middle fingers in their profile picture, I'll usually go to their friend list as well and kind of see if there's anybody that I recognize from their friend list. And if I have even 15 mutual friends with them, sure, I'll friend them. But that helps too, is going to somebody else's friend list and being like, oh yeah, I know them from high school, or I know them from this or that.
Yeah, and that's what I did with my sorority sisters, who we went to U of L, and there was a lot of people that were either in my sorority with me, or they went to U of L too, and we had a lot of mutual friends. I may not even known this person, but we had mutual friends. Maybe they were friends with a couple of people from our sorority. I would friend those people too. Have you seen Brooke's video, Finding Amazing Facebook Friends?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of her one that she did with Jason. It was friends of friends that like so-and-so or whatever, something.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest one has been, and I know it's hard because Chris has tried to find teacher groups, but if you can think of any other hobby or interest you have, one of our coaches is in a Matilda Jane. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It's some kind of cute kids clothing. They're in that group. She's also in a Lululemon buy, sell, and trade group. And then I know one coach is in a Cincy group. Of course, a lot of us that are hygienists in here are in, there's there's quite a few dental hygiene groups out there. There's one of them that has like over 20,000 people in it. And then there's dog groups. There's a lot of groups out there that people can join. And I used to even post in these groups, but now that I'm not practicing hygiene anymore, that was the one that I usually posted the most. I don't post in those too much. But I really I go and look through the news feed and see who's posted that day. And then I'll check out their profile and I'll be like, oh, okay, it looks like we could be friends. And so I'll send them a friend request. Yeah, that's what I do. Do y'all have any other questions? No. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for the night. And don't be scared. Dive into our PD book if you guys are reading it. You can go ahead and read chapter 2. And I will post Carl's video once I'm able to get this uploaded to YouTube. And I'll post it on the team page. I'll post Carl's video that we had watched today in the PD group. If you didn't, I'll post it into the comments. Okay? All right, y'all. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.
That was a lot.
Bye.